Welcome to Across the Goal Line. I'm with Godissart. Today I'm going to be giving everybody my 2017 NFL predictions. In this episode, I'm just going to go over some of the coaching changes. There's only about 6 or 7 of them from the end of 2016 season up until now. The NFL preseason is officially over. Today is September 6th, 2017, the day before the 2017 season kicks off. I wanted to do this a little earlier in the summer, but it is what it is. I always wait to the last minute to do stuff anyway. Um, but I'm going to get into some coaching changes, games to watch. What else do I have here? My MVP predictions, offensive rookie and defensive rookie of the year, coach of the year, and my playoff predictions, and then my Super Bowl 52 prediction as well. So basically, it's just going to be the same stuff, the same topics that were in my 2017 college football preview. If you caught that last week, I did that about 2 or 3 days before the 2017 college football season kicked off. Um, like I said, I wanted to do this a little earlier in the summer, but here I am now doing it at the last minute. But it's better than not doing it at all, because you guys should also go check out my NFL predictions for the week for week one, of the new season, and then also I'll have another video out this week as well. It'll be week two predictions for college football. So be sure to go watch those and listen to those as well. Share them on all social media. Be sure to subscribe to Across the Goal Line on YouTube if you haven't already. Be sure to like this video. If you wish, it really doesn't matter to me. It'd be nice, and it'd be greatly appreciated if you do. But yeah, Across the Goal Line on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. So follow us on all those. Subscribe on YouTube, so you can keep in touch and stay up to date with all the content that, especially this week, all the new content that's going to be out. So without further ado, then I'm going to get into NFL predictions. I'm going to run through the coaching changes here real quick. San Francisco 49ers hired Kyle Shanahan from the Atlanta Falcons. He comes over from Atlanta, being their offensive coordinator. Previously, he has been an offensive coordinator or a offensive assistant in the National Football League since 2005. With a number of different teams. He has worked with a number of different quarterbacks. So don't be surprised if he can get Brian Hoyer back on track in his career, and the San Francisco 49ers make some noise this year. So he comes over from Atlanta. I know the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead in Super Bowl 51 against the New England Patriots, and people were still talking about that. Mainly because, well, he was the offensive coordinator. They should have kept running the football, but they decided to throw, and it allowed New England to get back into that game, and New England ended up winning the game, obviously. So Shanahan goes to the Bay Area. Go down south now. LA teams. Yes, I said teams. There's 2 teams in Los Angeles now. The Rams were there last year. After they moved from St. Louis back to LA with Jeff Fisher. They ended up firing him at the end of last year. They bring in Sean McVay, offense coordinator, for the Washington Redskins the past 2 seasons. He has worked with Kirk Cousins. Quarterback no one really thought would be good in the NFL, coming out of Michigan State back in 2012. After the Redskins drafted RG3, Robert Griffin III, with the 2nd overall pick. We all saw how that turned out. He got signed by the Browns then, and then he is currently unemployed at the moment. So the Rams have McVay. They do have a young quarterback in Jared Goff. So don't be surprised if McVay can get his career started. He really didn't play a whole lot last year. They were somewhat sort of redshirting him, I guess you could say. He did play. He was one of the 8 quarterbacks that played, rookie quarterbacks that played last year. The one that didn't was Christian Hackenberg. He still probably won't play for the Jets this year with what they're doing with him. But McVay comes over from Washington, goes to the Rams. The Rams, they're the Rams. They haven't been good since The Greatest Show on Turf with Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk. I don't see the Rams making the playoffs or even coming close to winning, coming in second in the NFC West. I think Seattle will run away with that division at the moment. Arizona, I think, will come in close second, and then you also have the Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. So 2 of the teams in the division have brand new head coaches. So I think Shanahan will be better than McVay. But McVay, he's the youngest coach in NFL history. He has connections to Vince Lombardi. So if he turns into something great, people will be saying well, it's because of that. But time will tell. The other Los Angeles team then is the LA Chargers. I still call them the San Diego Chargers just because that's what I know them as. That's what a lot of people know them as. They did play in LA for a year, and then they moved to San Diego and have been there since up until now. They bring over Anthony Lynn, who was the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills this past year. He got out. He was the interim head coach week 17 after the Bills fired Rex Ryan. Then he got out, went to LA. I'd rather be living in sunny California than upstate New York, especially in December. But they bring in Anthony Lynn. Speaking of the Bills, they got a new head coach. As I said, they fired Rex Ryan, and then interim head coach Anthony Lynn went to the Chargers. They hired former Panthers defensive coordinator Sean McDermott. He goes to Buffalo. Vance Joseph, another defensive coordinator, goes from Miami to Denver after Gary Kubiak stepped down 1 year after winning Super Bowl 50, but Super Bowl 50 was pretty much won by Denver's defense. Kubiak was a defensive-minded coach, even though he played quarterback in the NFL for the Broncos. I was shocked that he did step down, but it is what it is. He had health problems, and I totally understand that. But Denver stays in the same direction. They bring in a guy that the Dolphins, they had one of the best defenses the past couple years, and they bring him in to help better Denver's defense now as it is anyway. So Denver's defense will probably be one of the best, if not the best, defense in the NFL this upcoming season due to Vance Joseph and then Von Miller on that defensive line, outside linebacker position. And then another team in Florida, the Jacksonville Jaguars, as I was just talking about the Miami Dolphins. They officially hired Doug Marrone to be their full-time head coach. He was their interim towards the end of last year. He was previously the head coach for the Buffalo Bills for 2 years before he stepped away, and then that's when the Bills hired Rex Ryan. The Bills obviously have McDermott now. It's a cycle. Everything's going to come back to one another, sooner than later anyway. So that's all for the coaching changes. There's only 7 of them. I thought there would have been more, to be honest with you, back after the season got over in January, in February, and to think, these teams that just hired new head coaches, none of these teams made the playoffs last year. So we'll have to see if any of those teams can make the playoffs this year. Speaking of playoffs, I will get into my playoff predictions at the end of the show, and then give you my Super Bowl 52 predictions. Super Bowl 52 is in Minneapolis this year. It's on NBC, but we'll get into that later. Week 1 is this week. I'm going to get into some games to watch now from Week 1 to 17. Tomorrow night, the Chiefs go to New England, play the Patriots, and then Oakland goes to Tennessee on Sunday. Seattle also goes to Green Bay on Sunday. The Giants go to Dallas Sunday night, and these teams, it seems like they play in Dallas to open the year, either at 4:30 or on Sunday Night Football for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And then on Monday night, the Saints go to Minnesota in a return for Adrian Peterson to Minneapolis. Also in that Dallas game, Ezekiel Elliott should be playing. His suspension, he did get suspended for 6 games, if you did not know that. But it has, it's up in the air at the moment. It could be upheld. He could not play, but it's a strong possibility that he will play this Sunday night in Arlington. Week 2 then, next weekend, the Cardinals go to the Colts, Eagles go to the Chiefs in a matchup of Andy Reid, former Andy Reid assistant, and Andy Reid. Doug Peterson, he was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs there when Andy Reid came to Kansas City. He then went back to Philly. Peterson was also an assistant for the Eagles when Reid was in Philly. So there's a game that'd be real interesting to watch. The Patriots go to the Saints, a matchup of a former team of Brandon Cook's New Orleans Saints. He got traded to the Patriots right around draft time. And then the Cowboys go to the Broncos, and the Packers go to the Falcons in a rematch of last year's NFC title game. Week 3, the Texans go to the Patriots in a rematch of last year's divisional game. The Seahawks go to the Titans, the Bengals go to the Packers, and then the Cowboys go to the Cardinals on Monday Night Football at the end of September. Week 4, the Bears go to the Packers, the Steelers go to the Ravens in a rivalry game. The Bears-Packers game is also a rivalry game. The Titans then go to the Texans in a preview, I think, of obviously the first game of 2 between these two teams for all those matchups. To be honest with you, the first 3 that I just named off. I think the Titans-Texans matchup is a preview of who will win the AFC South, and then whoever doesn't will still make the playoffs as a wild card. The Panthers go to New England, and then the Giants go down to Tampa Bay. The Patriots then go to Tampa Bay the following week, Week 5. The Chiefs go to the Texans. What else do we have Week 5? The Ravens go to the Raiders, and then we have a rematch of a NFC divisional matchup this past year with the Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys. The game that Aaron Rodgers threw the Hail Mary to Jared Cook. Yes, Aaron Rodgers went to Jared, set up the game-winning field goal, and crushed the Dallas Cowboys' hopes and dreams of going to the Super Bowl. And then the Packers lost to the Falcons the following week. And then Week 6, Steelers go to the Chiefs in a rematch of a AFC divisional game this past year. The Buccaneers go to the Cardinals, the Giants go to the Broncos, and then the Colts go to the Tennessee Titans. Week 7, the Chiefs go to the Raiders, the Saints go to the Packers, the Seahawks go to the Giants, and then the Falcons go to the Patriots in a rematch of Super Bowl 51. Week 8, the Texans go to the Seahawks, the Chargers go to the Patriots. Week 9, the Chiefs go to the Cowboys, in a game you really haven't seen in a number of years. Week 10, then the Cowboys also go to Atlanta. Could have been a rematch of the NFC title game if Dallas would have beat Green Bay, but they didn't. Then the Patriots go to Denver. Week 11, I think, might be the best week of the NFL season. This will be the week before Thanksgiving. That Thursday night, the Tennessee Titans come to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. The Arizona Cardinals go to Houston to play the Texans. The Ravens go to Green Bay to play the Green Bay Packers. The Chiefs then go to East Rutherford to play the New York Football Giants. The Patriots go to the Raiders. Then the Eagles go to the Cowboys, and then the Falcons go to the Seattle Seahawks. Week 12 then, Thanksgiving weekend. Thanksgiving Day, afternoon and night, you got the Minnesota Vikings going to Detroit to play the Lions in a rematch of the 12:30 game on Thanksgiving last year. The Los Angeles Chargers then go to Dallas to play the Cowboys, and then the New York Football Giants go south to play the Washington Redskins. And then on Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend, you got one divisional matchup between the Buccaneers and Falcons, and these are just games to watch, folks. I'm just going down through the list. You're going to have plenty more games week in and week out. You're going to have your each team will have its bye week. There's 17 weeks in the year. You know, you play 16 games. And speaking too of bye weeks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Miami Dolphins were supposed to play on Sunday, but due to Hurricane Irma, that game has been postponed until week 11, when both teams originally had bye weeks. So both teams now have bye weeks week 1, and then they have to play 16 straight weeks until the end of the season. So that's going to be a rough stretch for both the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Miami Dolphins. But, you know, I think at the Buccaneers, between the two teams, would have a better shot to make the playoffs. But the Buccaneers, they go to Atlanta week 12. Green Bay goes to Pittsburgh on Sunday night, and then Houston goes to Baltimore on Monday night. The Baltimore Ravens have not had a Monday Night Football game at home in a couple of years. They talked with the NFL before the NFL schedule release, said we would like a home game on Monday night this year. The NFL said okay. They got the Houston Texans week 12. The Buccaneers then go to go to Green Bay week 13, and then the Giants go to Oakland as well. And then week 14, Tennessee goes to Arizona, Dallas goes to New York to play the Giants, and then the Ravens go to Pittsburgh. Week 15 then, I think week 15 is the week before Christmas. Yes, the Broncos go to the Colts, the Chargers go to the Chiefs, the Packers go to the Panthers, the Patriots go to the Steelers, and then the Cowboys go to the Raiders in possibly a preview of Super Bowl 52. Week 16 then, Christmas weekend. Christmas on a Monday this year, folks, so Christmas Eve is that Sunday. We'll have, I believe, 2 games on the 23rd, the rest on the 24th, and then you got 2 Monday night games, one Monday afternoon and one Monday night. So week 16 then, you got Seattle going to Dallas on Sunday, the New York Football Giants going to Arizona, and then you got the Pittsburgh Steelers going to Houston on Christmas Day at 4:30, and then you have the Oakland Raiders going to Philadelphia to play the Eagles, Fly, on Christmas night on ESPN for the last Monday Night Football game of the 2017 NFL season. And then week 17, they're all divisional games. As it has been like this the past, I don't know how many years. So if you know what team if you know what division your team's in, like the Steelers and the Ravens, they play in the AFC North. The Buccaneers and Saints play in the NFC South, and then the 49ers and Seahawks play in the NFC West. All divisional matchups, so it should be interesting. The NFL did this, because you don't want a team playing a team from another division when the team that's in the lead of that division, of their respective division, loses, and then the other team loses, and then it's just better you play head-to-head week 17. If it comes down to it, you beat them head-to-head on the field then, and then you win your division, rather than having to wait it out and see if, even if you lost, if the other team lost and you still win, little things like that. So the NFL did that, and I like it. I think a lot of people do, but that's just my opinion. Awards then, we'll get into some awards, and then my playoff predictions. I'll give you who I think is going to win each division. I'm not going to rank them down in order 1 to 6 because you'll have your 4 divisional winners and then 2 wildcard teams for both the AFC and NFC. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to give you my 6 playoff teams for both the AFC and NFC, excuse me, and then the 2 teams I have in Super Bowl 52. Awards, I'll go Coach of the Year first. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to have one of the best seasons that they've had in the past 12 years. I mean, the last time they made the playoffs, I believe, was when they went to the Super Bowl against the Oakland Raiders back in 2002. It had been the 2002 season into 2003 Super Bowl 37 in San Diego. But I think Dirk Cutter, he was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons about 2-3 years ago, before he came to Tampa Bay and got the head coaching job after they fired Lovie Smith unexpectedly in the middle of the summer. But I think all of Tampa Bay's weapons, and then you have Jameis Winston at quarterback. Their defense, they're getting back to the 2 defense. I've been saying that for the past year. I believe I had them in the playoffs last year. They came up short. They finished 9-7. I think they'll have enough this year to win the NFC South. So there's a little hint, little preview. What's the right word I'm going to use? I think the Buccaneers will win the NFC South. I'll say that. I can't think at the moment. Another team in the NFC South is the Carolina Panthers. They drafted Christian McCaffrey in the first round with the 8th overall pick. I think he'll win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then another first-round pick out of Temple, Son Reddick. He went to the Arizona Cardinals with the 13th overall pick. I think he'll win Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then for Most Valuable Player, the MVP, I think Derek Carr, the Oakland Raiders. I think Carr will win the MVP. He's coming off, a fabulous season last year, and then gets hurt like 2 days before Christmas, breaks his leg in a couple different spots. He's healthy. He's ready to go for this year. They brought in Marshawn Lynch out of retirement to run the football. They still have Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, they should have drafted back in 07, I believe it was, or 08, instead of Johnny Lee Higgins, or no, it was Darius Hayward-Bay, excuse me. But they ended up getting Crabtree anyway, so it worked out. And then you got Khalil Mack on the defensive side of the ball with Carl Joseph. And then they just also drafted Garyon Conley out of Ohio State to help that secondary out. So I think Carr, he'll win MVP. And then my AFC predictions for the playoffs, I'll have New England Patriots win the AFC East, the Pittsburgh Steelers win the AFC North, the Houston Texans will win the AFC South again for the 3rd straight year. And then the Oakland Raiders will win the AFC West. I think the Titans will get one of the wild card spots. I think, as I said earlier, whoever wins those games between the Texans and Titans will, one will win the division, and the loser will get the wild card. I think Tennessee will get the wild card. And then my other team in the wild card for the AFC, I got a couple different teams between the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Ravens, and keep an eye out for the Los Angeles Chargers. If they can stay healthy, I think they can make some noise. Phillip Rivers, I think, is really pissed off from moving from San Diego to Los Angeles. He's still residing in San Diego. He's going to make the drive down Interstate 5 every day, but I think the Chiefs and Andy Reid, I think they'll have, I think come late in the season, Rivers driving every day, it's gonna get to him, it's gonna tire him out, and he's gonna be beat up at the same time. it's going to be too much. I think the Chiefs will outlast the Chargers. The Chiefs will come in second, then the Chargers in third in the AFC West, and then the Broncos in fourth. But the AFC West, it's been a real tough division the past couple years. But I think with the coaching of Andy Reid, it seems like he's in the playoffs every year in Philadelphia, and it seems like he's been in the playoffs every year since he's been in Kansas City. I think Kansas City will edge out LA, get the other wild card spot in the AFC. So AFC teams again, I got the Patriots, the Steelers, the Houston Texans, the Oakland Raiders, the Titans, and then the Kansas City Chiefs. The NFC then, I have the Dallas Cowboys, the Green Bay Packers. The Cowboys will win the East, the Packers will win the North, the Buccaneers will win the South, as I said a moment ago, and then the Seattle Seahawks will win the NFC West. And then I believe the Arizona Cardinals will be one of the wild card spots in the NFC. They'll come in a close second in the NFC West. And then I went through, I came up with 4 teams I thought, could make a run at the last wild card spot in the NFC as well. I came up with the Giants, Saints, and Lions, but then I also came up with the Eagles, and I think the Eagles will edge out all those teams. So I think, with the Cowboys winning the East, Philly's obviously going to come in second, the Giants in third, and then, the Redskins at 4, Jay Gruden, this could be his last year. The whole thing with Kirk Cousins, them, not giving him a long-term deal, just doing the franchise tag every year. It's something else if you ask me. They should have just paid the man, but I think Philly will come in 5th or 6th then, the other wild card spot in the NFC. So I'll run down through my NFC predictions again then. I got the Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay Packers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Seattle Seahawks, and then the Arizona Cardinals and Philadelphia Eagles. And then my Super Bowl 52 predictions, as I did my college football preview, I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to guess, but in the meantime, I'm going to plug everything I need to plug across the goal line. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Follow on both Twitter and Instagram. Like on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Email us at acrossthegoalline2016 at gmail.com. If you have any questions or concerns, you can follow me on Twitter as well, or Instagram. My Twitter is at ForhandLuke96. My Instagram is Godissart96, LGODISSART96. What else? Merchandise. Hit me up for that. We actually have a contest going on as we speak, as I speak. It's been going on for about a month. If you have not seen it on Facebook, it's only on Facebook, so be sure to like us on Facebook. It's only on Facebook. All you have to do, there's a post out there. All you have to do is share it. You'll be entered to win a T-shirt and a hat. And if you win, I hope you wear that T-shirt and hat and represent across the goal line everywhere you go. So without further ado, then Super Bowl 52, time's up. Super Bowl 52. It's in Minneapolis in February. It's going to be pretty damn cold, but Minneapolis, the Vikings, they just built that new stadium. It's not the Metrodome anymore. It's United Bank Stadium, I believe. I believe that's what it's called. Don't quote me on that. I'm not too familiar with the new stadium. There's all these new stadiums, being built. It seems like every year. So, and the names change. It seems like every year as well with all these sponsors. But Super Bowl 52 will be in Minneapolis in February. It's going to be on NBC. Out of the AFC, I think a team, that could have made a run last year, but due to an injury, they didn't. And that's the Oakland Raiders. I think, after Derek Carr got hurt, their season it obviously went downhill. They lost. Uh, they lost the following week. Like I said, he went down like 2 days before Christmas. They still had a game after that in the regular season, week 17. I believe they lost that, and then Kansas City ended up winning the division, got the number 2 seed. If Oakland would have won, they would have got the 2 seed. They would have got a bye. They would have had a week off, been more prepared. But with losing, they had to play in the wild card against Houston in Houston in a rematch of that Mexico City game last year, right before Thanksgiving, and they went down to Houston and lost. They lost to Brock Osweiler in the Houston Texans, who is now going back to Denver after Houston traded him to Cleveland in March when the new league year started. And then Cleveland actually just cut him within the past couple of days. He's going back to Denver now on a one-year deal, if you did not know that. Oakland, their team, I think, could have made a run last year. Should have made a run last year, but with Carr getting hurt, it hurt them really, really bad. So I think the Oakland Raiders, just said earlier too, all the weapons they have, especially bringing in now Marshawn Lynch, who has veteran experience at running the football, probably a future Hall of Famer. And then you have Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, Khalil Mack on defense. I think the Oakland Raiders will come out of the AFC, and then in the NFC, and you'll get my gist here. You'll know what I'm thinking when I announce my NFC team for the Super Bowl. I said it earlier. Hurricane Irma, the Dolphins playing the Buccaneers. Both teams have a bye week 1 now. They're going to have to play 16 straight weeks to finish out the season. And I said the one team I think that could make the playoffs between those two teams would be Tampa Bay over Miami. And I think Tampa Bay will, they'll slow down at the end of the year from playing too much, being tired. But I think they'll make a run, and they'll probably have to play in the wild card game if they don't get the 1 or 2 seed. So I think Dallas and Green Bay will probably have that, or even Seattle. So I can see Green Bay being the 5 or 6. To be honest with you, and then somebody else out of that division wins, say the Detroit Lions, a team that I have possibly being a wild card, and then one of those other teams won't make playoffs, obviously. But I think Tampa Bay, they'll slow down at the end of the year, but then come playoff time, they'll start playing well again, and I think Tampa Bay will make a run to the Super Bowl. So then we got the Oakland Raiders going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl again in a rematch of Super Bowl 37 15 years ago from San Diego, California. The first Super Bowl I ever watched. And I think this time, though, the team that lost in 37 will win. So I think Oakland will beat Tampa Bay. I think the Oakland Raiders will defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Super Bowl 52 from Minneapolis, Minnesota, come February. So let me know what you think about all my predictions. I tried to run through those as fast as I could. I know we're coming up about 35 minutes, but let me know what you guys think. Like I said, if you want to like this video, that's fine by me. Share it on all social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or all three, like I said. And then let me know what you think. Me personally, on my Twitter, it's at CoolHandLuke96, or my Instagram. I'll have all these predictions up, this video up by the end of the night. Hopefully today is September 6th, the day before the season. As I said, I wanted to do this earlier in the summer, but I waited to the last minute, like I do for everything, and well, I did get it done, so really that's all that matters. when it comes down to it. So, like I said, let me know what you think, and be sure to go check out my NFL Week 1 predictions and then my college football Week 2 predictions as well. And I'll see you later.